Hi everyone. Have you often wondered what the best way to lose weight is? I know I have. I am Michelle Mira, certified breatharian healer and trainer, energy medicine practitioner, and transformational guide. And welcome to my channel where we talk about dry fasting, breatharianism, pranic techniques, and healthy weight loss. So today in this video, we are going to talk about my two best weight loss secrets. So be sure and stay tuned for my number one trick for if you need to lose over 60 pounds and you want to do it fast and you want to do it in a healthy way. Stay tuned to the end of this and I will give that tip. And also be sure and subscribe and like my channel. Okay, so we are going to jump into the juice of this. So the number one way, the secret that I found after trying so long is actually one that I found after years of struggle. I starting as a teenager excuse me, started yo-yo dieting, and being a dancer, it was a constant struggle. Then I would overeat, then I would just feel horrible. I am lactose intolerant, gluten intolerant, didn't know that for years. So struggled with losing the same weight over and over again, and I'm sure that many of you can relate to this. So when I got older and it got even more difficult after yo-yo dieting, I really felt like I was imprisoned in this, like I was a victim to food and situations. And just when I felt like I had really gotten to a place that I felt good and healthy and had lost the weight, a social gathering, a wedding, a holiday event would just get me. And, one of my biggest challenges is if I let myself get hungry, then I just am just overeating whatever's there. And so, just the social pressure got to me as well. And so I found myself just feeling like a complete victim to food, and like I couldn't get out of it no matter what I tried, until I found these two secrets that I'm going to share with you. So the first one is keto. So the keto diet is pretty popular these days. I found it after struggling with Atkins for a while and not being able to sustain the weight loss because it was just too hard to just stick with high protein and fats, and especially because I'm prone to vegetarian and I just feel better eating vegetables, and so I wasn't able to really stick with that one. Plus it's really strict, and once you're on it, it's hard to get off of it. So keto is similar. It's basically no sugar, no carbs, low carbs, I want to say. Actually, I think that you can, as long as you're under 25 grams net carbs a day, you're fine. And so I found this one to be easier because I could actually eat vegetables and certain things that were just lower in carbs, but I could still have them. Whereas with Atkins, you can't cheat at all, or you can have, you can go up pretty high. So I want to talk about eating carbs and glucose and insulin. So when you have a lot of glucose, basically that's going to be where your body goes first to get fuel. And so, and insulin is produced to process glucose, and what it does is it takes the glucose all around the body. So what does this mean? It means that your fats are not needed. Your body's just not going to go to the fats to burn if you have a lot of glucose. And if it's all over your body, then it's just going to keep going to those glucose storages, and the fat's just going to be stored in different parts of the body. So You don't want to have sugar, you don't want to have glucose, you don't want to have carbs, because all of those just end up being fat stored in the body. And so the keto diet really addresses that. And when you're not putting sugar in, you're not putting carbs in, then those glucose stores get smaller and smaller, and your body will start going to fat reserves for fuel. So it's a beautiful thing. Keto for me was way easier to do than Atkins, and easy to sustain, and I actually was able to keep the weight off with ease. So what happens is your body goes into ketosis, and that's the process that helps the body survive if the food is low. And so as long as you're eating less than 25 net grams of carbs per day, then your body's going to go to the fats for fuel, and you'll actually find like you've got long burning fuel instead of just sugar being burned up and then you crash. So on the keto, you don't have any grains, you don't have any sugar, you don't have any fruit, because that can break down into sugar. You don't have any tubers, so potatoes, yams, that sort of thing. And it's fairly easy to follow, and that has been, of all the things that I've done throughout the years, that was at the top of my list for quick and sustained weight loss. So the second one is a really big one for me, and that was fasting with breatharianism. So 1 meal a day worked really well for me. 2 meals a day worked well, and I think it's probably a good idea to start with 2 meals a day, and then close that window, that feeding window. So say you start with a 10-hour window, which means that your feeding window is the hours in the day that you would eat. So if you're saying, I'm going to do 2 meals a day and I want to eat between 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock, then you could do that in an 8-hour window. Then after that, I would get it down to 4 to 6, and then 4 hours, and keep closing that window until you are at just 1 meal a day. And this is actually easier to sustain than you might think, and actually worked really well for me. The other one is dry fasting. Dry fasting is fabulous because it goes with basically it's helping you get healthier, it's helping you eliminate toxins, it's helping you kind of kick the bad cells, the poison cells, the disease cells out, and start over, and you kind of get a clean slate after doing a really nice dry fast, and you'll actually feel younger. It's just a really great way to get healthy, kind of go backwards in age and lose weight. It's a very fast way, it's a very intense way. But what I've found is that combining the pranic exercises and the breatharian with the dry fasting was the magic combo and my magic cocktail. So those are the top 2 that have helped me lose the most weight and keep it off and feel healthier, because I'm all about healthy weight loss. It's not worth it to lose a bunch of weight and then be unhealthy. And I noticed with Atkins, my skin didn't look healthy, and I just didn't feel all that great with that. So I also, I'm just throwing this in as a bonus, but I also do these Mediterranean shakes for some of the, if I'm on 2 meals a day, I often will do the Mediterranean shakes and add those in. And I also I'll play with those because they give me all the vitamins and nutrients that I need, and they have anti-aging complex in them, and I find that I just thrive on that. So I'll play around with that. If I'm doing 1 meal a day, sometimes I'll do a shake and then 1 meal within my feeding window. So that's just kind of a bonus as far as like what you're going to be eating um, while you're doing the fasting breatharian. But the number one tip that I would like to share for anybody that's needing to lose over 60 pounds and wants to do it faster than just working out and also staying healthy, I recommend HCG drops. I didn't do the injections because that was pretty intense, and I found that the drops helped me drop the weight but also feel healthier. HCG is, it's very strict, but you can lose a lot of weight. You can lose 2 to 5 pounds a day, and you don't feel tired and you don't feel hungry. So if you get the right drops and you're doing it the right way, then you're not suffering, and you can lose a lot of weight very quickly. And this helps if you have a lot of weight to lose, because you can get that extra weight off of your body, and it helps your joints, and it helps you start working out and start getting more active. When I was carrying a lot of weight on my body, it hurt all the time. My joints, it hurt. Going upstairs, it hurt, and I couldn't do any sort of high impact. That was just out. So HCG is a really great way to get a jump start. And obviously I'm not a medical expert, but I do have a lot of experience with it, and I do recommend the drops that I used, and I'm going to put those in the link below. And I also did the HCG pharmacy grade sublingually, and that you mix yourself, you mix it with B12, and I had success with that as well. The drops are just a little gentler and easier to get. I know that some of the HCG isn't being shipped out now after everything that's going on, but so yeah, I'll put the links there, and if you are interested in the pharmacy grade HCG, I have a contact and I can let you know about that. I'm just not certain what the current updates are as far as shipping to the US, because they were coming from India. So those are the secrets that I've found. I've tried so many different diets, most of the popular ones, and I would find that I would just be suffering and go right back into the prison of food. The other thing that the breatharian does is it actually does work on many, many levels, and so it's going to the source of why you need food for coping. It's going to the source of why you overeat, and it's clearing a lot of that out so that you're not struggling and you don't have to feel like a victim to it. I found myself turning down food because I wasn't hungry. I found myself having a better relationship with food, and I could actually say no for the first time in my life because I didn't want it, I didn't need it. It wasn't hard to say no. It was very natural for me, and I found myself craving healthy foods instead of junk foods. And I also had a tool to work with when I got emotionally triggered before I would go and just pig out on food. So it also is a great way to keep yourself from being hungry. It's a way to fill up. It's also a way to move out those old repressed emotions that you've been carrying around and you don't even know how much they're running you. So for me, that was the missing key in all of my weight loss journey, because it really gave me what I could never find in other things, because just taking food away wasn't working for me. There was something there that was still running me. It was still ruling me. I was still in some sort of psychological prison around it, and I did not have a healthy relationship with food. So there were many levels of it, and any sort of overeating or food addiction is very complex, and even just even just craving sugar can be complex and can be coming from a different place than just, oh, I like sweets. And so Breatharian was amazing, and you can use it even when you're just dieting regularly, even when you're just doing keto. You can use it just to give you a boost. It gives you energy, and it's just really, really healthy. So I felt like that was the missing key, and I wanted to share this with you because it took years of struggle for me to find the things that work and last. So and now, even when I have days that I'm just triggered and I would just peg out on lots of food, lots of bad food, like I'm talking, I would have burgers and chips and then go back for pizza, and I would eat all day long. Even on those days that I have now, I have something that I can choose instead, and I have something that can fill me up that doesn't have anything to do with food. And then I can make a choice if I want to eat those cookies, but it's not a matter of having to survive or I'm going to die. So we all still have days that are a struggle, that obstacles get thrown in front of us, that we feel like nothing's going right, and I still have those days, but on those days I have another option. And so be sure and join me on the rest of my journey, and I invite you to join me if you're interested in finding out more about the Breatharian and pranic breathing. I do have a course, and you're welcome to join me on that. It's Prana Upgrade, a 4-day pranic upgrade that is an incredible addition to, like I said, dieting. I'm also going to put links to videos on that I have tips on dry fasting, how to prepare and break a fast if that's something your interest is piqued by. And so yeah, I'll put resources under this, and I'm going to continue sharing my journey. I'm currently traveling to different state parks, national parks, and I'm really getting to explore traveling without the overeating, because those two used to really go hand in hand. And anytime that I got in a car for a road trip, it was let's eat, let's snack the whole time. So anyway, I'm traveling. I'm going to be sharing that, what I'm doing, where we're going, and so yeah, stay with my journey, and be sure and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow.